Hello, space friends. Captain Snuggles here. Yep, that's me. Broke as a joke, floating in my spacesuit, stranded in the depths of black hole sun. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started with a routine trip to my favorite place in the world, the Aurora Casino. I had a little bit of bad luck and lost a couple of hands, but I knew I could turn it around. I made my way deeper and deeper into the casino, looking for a high-stakes game where I could win everything back and more. Well, I found something high-stakes, all right. A split, a Paranid, and a Terran, all looking real serious and real official, gathered around a display in a back room, flanked by a couple of Syndicate thugs. I know bad news when I see it. I tried to win him over by flashing a big smile and cracking my best joke, but someone cracked me first. Bam! A burst of pain right in the back of my head, the room went black, and the next thing I knew, I was here, left for dead. Good thing I have a thick skull. Now, it doesn't bother me that the Terrans, the Holy Order, and the Patriarchy have all listed me as kill on sight. It doesn't bother me that there's clearly some heavy geopolitical nonsense about to go down. It doesn't even really bother me that the Syndicate has seized all my money and assets. What really bothers me is that I've been blacklisted. Banned from my favorite casino. That's just taking it too far. But I'll show them. I'll show all of them. I'll build my own casino. With blackjack and space weed. Right after I find some oxygen. Alright, so that was the in-universe explanation, the lore drop, so to speak, behind this playthrough. But why don't I give you the metagame explanation as well? So first and foremost, the purpose of this playthrough is to thank last year's charity donors. So we had a very successful charity drive. I promised all the donors that their names would be featured in a future playthrough, and well, here's the playthrough. This is going to be a challenge run, so I'm starting with nothing. No ship, no money, no items, just floating in space in my spacesuit, trying to build up from there to being the proud owner of a casino. Not just any casino, but a casino that makes money and has people in it. So, this should be fun. I'm really trying to make this an underdog story. So, you can see I have a little bit of an atypical background here. I've actually disabled a few extensions to really facilitate the underdog idea. The idea that I'm not some destined hero of the universe. I'm just a guy with a dream of owning a casino. So, I've disabled Kingdom End, because that's really like a you're the main character kind of expansion. Also disabled Timelines in the Hyperion pack, because they're essentially just free ships. I do like all of these, especially Kingdom End and Timelines. I think are really good, but they're not the vibe I'm going for, so all three of these are disabled. Now, let me show you my universe setup. So, as you might expect, I'm using a custom start. The name of this run is going to be Casino Snuggale. I am Snuggale07 here. You can see I'm using the Vigor Syndicate model, so my guy is a former quote-unquote citizen of the Syndicate, if you can call him that, but now he is being kicked out, blacklisted, left for dead. So he is his own man. Now then, as you can see, 0 starting balance, 0 inventory, not even the basic spacesuit equipment. I do have a blueprint because I am going to start with the headquarters, because I'm again trying to go for a setup of plot lines that gives me relatively little free stuff and doesn't set me up as some kind of grand hero. So let's take a look on that. Starting ship, of course, is the spacesuit. property is only the headquarters, which I've put over in Heretic's End. Universe, I know the area right around Windfall, because that's where my guy grew up, but that's about it. Faction relations. So, I have been blacklisted by the Holy Order, the Terran Protectorate, the Vigor Syndicate, and the Zyarth Patriarchy. I also gave myself +5 relations with a few of the factions that are unfriendly towards my new enemies. The +5 doesn't do anything mechanically, I just like the idea. Now, an important point here with the standings is that I'm not setting any artificial limitations on my gameplay options, no self-imposed rules outside the game systems, with 2 exceptions. First, I will not initiate hostile military action against any factions that are friendly or neutral towards me, which takes several cheeses off the table and is thematically appropriate. Second self-imposed rule, I will remain permanently at war with the Vigor Syndicate. They kicked me out of the Aurora Casino, and for that, they cannot be forgiven. Other than those 2 rules, it's no holds barred. Let's see, what else? Yes. These story states. So, I've taken the full headquarters with Boso and Dal, the reason being that I wanted Dal to lock myself out of the Hatikva free ship questline. I did not want that available right off the bat, so I went ahead and just closed that out. This gives me nothing meaningful aside from access to some later plot lines that I'm not going to do. So then with the Terran Covert Ops situation, I've gone ahead and put status quo just to make sure that I'm basically locked into the Terrans being able to move through Argon space unrestricted, which means they can get at me unrestricted, which is what I want. I want people coming after me, I want some real difficulty, I want to be the underdog. So, I've locked myself into having to periodically face the Intervention Corps. Then, with this, with the Pioneers, I have completed the terraforming plotline. It doesn't actually give you anything in any part of the game that I'll be interacting with. What it does is it stops Boso and Dal from calling me up constantly, trying to trigger the start of the plotline. Everything else is just default. So, no surprises there. And then last but not least, there is the research. So, I've basically gone ahead and completed these tutorial quests, which are the basic mods. These are all just silly little fetch quests and tutorials. Everything that I have left is either directly relevant to the run, i.e. the gambling den and casino, or is just collecting resources. So, I left all of that, aside from these silly little fetch quests. Alright, and that's the setup. I've had this run sort of in the back of my mind for a long time, and I'm really excited to kick it off, make it happen, and at the same time get to thank my awesome, generous charity donors. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. I hope you are too, and I will see you in the first episode of Casino Snuggale.